and Sam, his voice was stolen and used in a porn ad.
Yeah.
Pardon? Really?
It wasn't even AI. So I posted one singular clip to YouTube 3 years ago. And it was, I shot beer out of my nose while playing Amnesia, and it hurt. So I was making these weird moaning noises, and it was funny, I thought. And somebody took it, clipped it, and then showed me that they're adding it to their porn site as a ad. And I'm just like, what the fuck, no? And then they blocked me, and it's still up, apparently, and I'm mad about it.
That is wild.
Yeah. At least, like, pay me, damn.
The problem with this one, at least, like, it's great, it's amazing, but it's a boom microphone, so hyper-focused in one spot, and that spot tends to be my very dry mouth, and I'm trying to find out ways to reduce the dry mouth noise as much as I can. Because I do a lot of recording. I listen back to my own voice and all of that stuff, so...
Yeah, like, same here. When it comes to, like, that kind of stuff, they have a spray that you can use that I love. It's called Mickleberry Gardens Honey Propolis Soothing Throat Spray.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That stuff works wonders, and oh my god, does it not make me salivate like crazy?
Does it taste good, or is it like eh?
Honey and apple cider vinegar.
Okay. So it's strong.
Yeah, it's strong. You're supposed to spray it directly down your throat. I like drinking apple cider vinegar raw, so like I don't mind it.
Yeah, it kind of works out
like
that way.
Yeah.
I used to drink a capful every day for a long time, but I don't know why I stopped. I think it was just changing of times for me, and I just decided I'm gonna work on a different diet idea.
So I did that for a really long time because I found out that apple cider vinegar can help with ovarian cysts.
Oh.
And yeah,
Yep.
that's the weirdest thing.
I mean, it's generally really good for you anyways, which is crazy that just vinegar is good for you. In small quantities, of course, not in large.
Right.
It'll kill your teeth 100%.
Yeah, I don't need that happening. Like, I've already got messed up teeth as it is, as you can tell from my model. Hold on.
I'll say, let's not kill our teeth. Instead, let's kill our livers.
Okay, we don't want to do that. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sorry, my wife didn't realize I was like right in the middle of the podcast. She's like, "Hey." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You doing the thing yet?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah, you are podcast mode right now.
Yeah.
And speaking of podcast mode, I couldn't think of a better segue than to start us off today. So, segue. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Get Connected with Iris and Nathan. I'm Iris.
And I'm Nathan, and we are joined by a very special guest today. Would our guest like to introduce himself?
Oh, hello. My name is Samuel Higgins, also known as the Eldritch Grandpa. I'm a variety streamer, voice actor, artist, video editor, and now VTuber manager.
There we go.
That is quite the resume that you have now.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting longer. My introduction is just going to last forever eventually.
Well, this is the podcast where we talk about ourselves, and that's pretty much it. But the topic for today is something that you, Grandpa, brought up and that you wanted to talk about. What is that topic?
VTubers and VTubing.
Yeah, the entire encapsulating idea of VTubing as a whole, which, you know, we had to do it at some point because just look at me. I'm a VTuber myself.
I was gonna say, look at you, look at our guests, look at probably the majority of our audience that listen to us, considering the fact that it's most of our friends who are also VTubers as well.
Nathan, I mean, look at your model. That is stunning graphic fidelity on you.
It's very responsive too, which is very impressive if you consider the VTubing space more than anything else.
Yeah, my
I
tracking does nothing compared to that.
Yeah, I decided to invest in Unreal 7. Like, we're currently at Unreal 5, but I decided to go ahead and go not just one model, but 2 models ahead to get, like, the realistic, lighting and such, the perfect skin tone and pores, perfect hair follicles.
You know that there's a term for that, right?
What is that term?
Flesh tubers.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Which it's so funny to bring that up to someone who is just a normal streamer, and they're like, "What? What?" I've had that several times on an interview before. So
I like your flesh tuber model.
I have always found that hilarious because like the term came up in a group that I was in like forever ago when I first started VTubing. And then it just took off, and now it's just the term that everybody uses, and it's just like I hate it so much. It is
yeah,
so gross.
yeah. I really wish I could change the term myself, just Mandela everyone into thinking that it's something completely different. But it's kind of funny, a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like comparing the two names, like VTuber. Oh, that's cute. Like, what exactly does the V stand for? Meanwhile, Flesh Tuber. Could you use Could we use a least sexier name for a real life person than Flesh?
No, that's pretty sexy.
It has the same kind of mouth feel as the word moist,
There you go.
and I hate that word too. So like, ugh.
Well, before we talk about VTubers as a whole, we have a little bit of a tradition, which is more of just a catch up on the week as far as that has been going. So, Sam, how has your week been?
Busy, crazy, just a lot of stuff going on. Mostly doing VTuber management stuff and also working on my group, the VTirement Home. It's been a lot of fun, but very tiring.
Tell us a little bit about the VTirement Home.
Okay, so the VTirement Home is a group of VTubers that I have gathered together based on their talents and whether or not I feel like they would vibe as a group. We've got artists, we've got model makers, we got model riggers, like anything that anybody could need as a VTuber, as well as quote unquote staff. It's just a group of VTubers over the age of 25 who are basically going to be working together to help each other out, to boost each other's streaming, and just to have a really good time. And eventually, I'm hoping if I hit partner, it's going to be my partner streaming group.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Hey, over 25, like always hits me because it's like I'm not that old. I'm not ready to retire.
Well, the whole
I
joke
know.
came about because a lot of people who don't stream are like, well, you're over the age of 20. You're too old to be doing this. And
Yeah.
it's just like, most of your Oshis, waifus, husbandos, and all of that, they're, I promise you, in their late 30s, probably 40s.
Oh yeah, I bring him up on the podcast all the time. Germa is like 35 years old, 36, and he is living his dream. So anybody can stream at any age. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
where you are, where you come from. Nobody should tell you that you're too old for something unless it's something like insanely physical. But even then, like, who cares?
I will argue that for the simple fact that nobody under the age of, in my opinion, 16 should be streaming.
Real.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's extremely valid. That is extremely valid. I was gonna say, at least when it comes to the other end of the spectrum, I should say, when it comes to the older people, like it's not just when it comes to streaming. There's a YouTube channel that I got recently introduced to like months ago. It's like Quality Time with Mac or something along the lines of that. Like this guy is in like, I don't know, his 60s or 70s or something along the lines of that. And all he's doing is just posting videos of just him out in nature or whatnot, just
Aw.
enjoying like nature stuff, maybe like cooking food out in the middle of the woods or something along the lines of that. And like it's like sitting down with ironically, it's like sitting down with a grandpa and just having some like good quality time more than anything else. And like the fact that a channel like that can exist and people actually go to it, flock to it, and love it and such, like it it shouldn't discourage anyone else, no matter what age they are, to simply be like, "Oh, I'm too old for this content creation thing." No, you're not. You go out and do it. Have fun with it.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
think. Sorry.
y-
I think it's a stigma, like a what's the word? Like people over romanticize the streaming aspect as a young thing, and like content creation is a thing that you always have to be like, I'm working on this, I got the SEO down, all the titles are perfect. But content creation can just be, I'm sharing my hobby, and that's all it needs to
Yep.
be.
yeah. There is a YouTuber that I absolutely adore, and they are older, and their channel name is Dad, How Do I? And
Oh
it's a
yes. Uh-huh.
yeah, it's an older man who shows basic skills like such as how to tie a tie, or how to iron your shirt, or how to fold clothes correctly for people who grew up without a father. And I adore him.
Yeah, I
Well,
love channels like that. I recently had to learn how to use a drain snake because I've never used one before. And I was like, shit, there's guides online don't tell me anything proper. They don't show me. Wait, there must be like a dad channel out there that could teach me. And sure enough, there was a dad channel that taught me everything I needed to know about drain snakes. So,
yeah,
but
I love those kind of channels, and that's kind of what I tried to like capture with the whole being a grandpa on the internet thing.
yeah, and I think you do it really well. You've got the welcoming, homey nature that I feel like a lot of people just either are missing or they just didn't get enough of. Um,
I appreciate that.
oh yeah, and to turn it on over to Nathan. Nathan, how was your week? There it is.
It's been since the last time we recorded, it has been a hell of a week. So work more or less picked up for me, and for technically Monday through Wednesday, I worked 11-hour shifts, or at least I was supposed to. Um, Monday I did, but then Tuesday. Well, actually, let me preface this with this. First off, I apologize to Christine ahead of time for what I'm about to tell.
Oh,
Uh, so Monday, as we're for context, me and Christine, we work at the same place, but she works at the night shift. So like I come in at like 10 o'clock and I usually don't leave till at least like 6:30. She
mhm.
comes in about 5:30, and she doesn't leave till usually like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning or something along the lines of that. So there's like a break right when she comes in to where I go out to her car and I relax with her and stuff like that. Either way, like, she gets to work, we're work at the same place for a good couple hours. I leave when she's on her break, and so we share like a little goodbye hug and all that stuff like that before I head out. Not even a few minutes later, she calls me saying that she accidentally locked her key in the car.
Oh
Uh,
Oh
no.
no.
and she starts like panicking and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, take a deep breath, all this kind of stuff. It eventually got to the point where she had to get a locksmith who was there the following day. So her car was at our workplace for, I'm not gonna say a full 24 hours, but it was there overnight, more so than it usually is.
Yeah.
Um, Luckily, like, she lives at a place where she has family members that, were able to pick her up, and she's like not even 10-15 minutes away from where we work at. But that Tuesday, she had an appointment with her doctor to potentially start on estrogen injections
Hmm.
and stuff. And she was panicking about that because it's like, I don't have my car. I can't make the trip. It's like a 2-hour trip because we're going to a big metropolitan area, Atlanta. Um, I had gone to bed. I woke up and she had sent a message not even an hour earlier saying, "Hey, call me when you can. I need help." So like, she said that like 5:30. So 6:30, I wake up. Hey, what's up? What's going on? What do you need? She basically asked me to give her a ride to Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, no major deal. Took the
Hmm.
day off of work, made the trip to Atlanta. The traffic sucked, but it was what it was. Um, she got the go ahead to get started on estrogen injections. So fucking great job for her.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go.
Major step in her transition. Uh, got something like well, it's funny. She had asked to like test it to see how it was to actually like take an injection. And instead of actually obviously giving her estrogen because she needed to prepare for that more than anything else, they had her take a shot of B12 vitamin. So directly after her appointment, she was just like bouncing up and down with like all sorts of energy because it's B12.
Yeah.
Got something to eat, got in the car, got home. Traffic was worse going home than it was on the way to the appointment. By the time we got back to her place, she was just like, I need sleep.
Aw.
You're such a sweet bean for doing that, though.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a bonding trip, though.
It was. One of the funniest parts, like, obviously, like I said, we're in a big metropolitan area, and after we get to the appointment, we're leaving the place, and like she's obviously looking around like the place close by to her doctor. She's like, I would feel like comfortable and safe like living in a place like this. Like this would be like a dream and such. And we get to, we stop by Wingstop to grab something to eat. And she's like, I wonder what it's like to live in a place like this. And she looked at the price and she's like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, this is the kind of place to where you kind of have to somewhat have made it a bit before you can move in. Which I hate breaking that to her, but it's like, this is not the place where two warehouse workers can come and find a place to live immediately,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, capital cities are kind of that trap of, oh, I want to live here so bad. It's a popular named city, and nope.
It's like it's not just the fact that it's a popular named city, but like I said, like especially the neighborhood that her doctor's office was, it's a very like LGBTQ plus like friendly area. Like you can easily tell with like all this stuff. And to put it bluntly, we live in rural South. We live in the place where, it's still very dodgy whether or not to reveal you're anywhere part of the spectrum, let alone trans like she is. So
no, I feel you there. I live in South Texas, so
yeah, exactly. So, but regardless, that happened Wednesday, 11-hour work day. Work then like slowly, slowed down, so it was fine. Got to really relax this past weekend. Got to interview an amazing artist on Sunday named Phantom. No, not her name is Claire. But she has a webcomic called Phantom Marine, which is a fantastic webcomic. I cannot recommend it enough. And yeah, just thankfully work has been slow, but it also kind of scares me because I know inventory is coming up, and that's gonna be taking a lot of my time. Yep. Especially because in fact that it's being led by someone that has never done an inventory in this place before. He's not even had a full year at the job, and people have no faith in him.
That's not fun.
You'll probably be hearing more about that in November, people.
Yeah, get ready.
Yeah, get ready. But that's enough about my week. Iris, how was your week this past week?
So funnily enough, earlier this week, I also locked myself out of my car. So I guess me and Christy are like on the same level. The stars align for the both of us from across the country.
I'm sorry. Did every trans woman on earlier this week just decide to lock their keys out of the car? Like, is this some sort of like transition thing that I didn't know about? Or
Luckily, my wife hasn't done it yet. So
it's
knock on wood.
But I was just listening to a stream, I think, and I got really distracted. I set my keys down when I would normally set my phone down to open the car. I opened the car. I unlocked my door manually without my keys and shut the door. And then I was like, wait, this doesn't feel right. My equilibrium is all out of whack. And I accidentally, locked myself out of my car and subsequently my house. But thankfully, I didn't have to call a locksmith because, I live in an apartment complex, so they could let me into my house so I could grab my extra car key so I could get into my car, and we're all home scot-free. So that happened. That was my week for that beginning part. And then we had like a sort of terrible experience with the dishwasher. I believe I might have talked about it a little bit last week on last episode. But we got this guy who came in and worked one meal. Not like one day, not like, 2 meals or half a day. he worked for one meal at this retirement home and said, "Oh yeah, I know how to do everything as a dishwasher." And
Oh god.
I got him
Okay, buddy.
I got him for all weekend. I was literally working my ass off, and then every 20 minutes he needed me to come over and show him how to do something, and I felt like I was gonna fucking die. It was driving me insane. Thankfully, we got a new training regimen for him. He got more days under his belt, and he's a lot better than he was last week. But oh boy, did it take a whole load out of me.
I was gonna say because I can only imagine if he had kept up that cocky attitude. After a certain point, you just gotta be like, "I'll tell you what. Since you seem to know everything, why don't you just run the kitchen? Like, let's just see what all you actually do know. You know."
Yeah, I don't talk about this often because I don't like saying the word hate, or like that I hate people. But my least favorite personality type is people who are too confident in themselves, cocky, but they don't know anything about what they're talking about or what they're doing. Because someone who's, I know this is not really humble to say, but someone who comes from the other side where I didn't know anything and I was doing everything that I can to prove that I knew how to do things. It's kind of frustrating to see people like cheat their way into a position. So that
Yep.
really gets under my skin. But after that, this weekend, great. I came out to another person that I'm trans at my workplace, so that makes two at this Christian facility. Let's go, hype, hype.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, so that's my week, and yeah. Anybody at home,
Nah.
please don't be worried. If you hug your blaha and give it a good old kiss on the cheek, you will not lock yourself out of your car. So that's my tip.
Speaking of, I still need to get my girlfriend a blaha. I feel like that is the ultimate like gender affirming action that I can do for her. Like
30
I get
$30 off IKEA, straight from IKEA, just 30 flat bucks. It's actually very
Noted.
well priced for like I'm turning around like everybody can see it, but this thing's massive. This is almost half my height, and I'm 6'4". So
yeah, that's right.
I'm missing something here. What is that?
the
Oh,
Blaha it's an IKEA plushy shark that has become synonymous with trans women. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know where it started. I've not done any of the
I
research, but
that is hilarious. And I'm gonna have to get my wife one
There you go.
because I have a what is it called, a onesie, the shark onesie
yeah.
that matches it.
Okay.
So like apparently I was already one step afoot of the game.
Yeah, ahead of the curve, as we say.
Yeah.
I need to look into it and why that started. And okay, I have a question for you, Sam. Is there any equivalent for trans mask people? Like if we have the shark plush, what is it for you?
Oh God. Okay. I was about to say something. People can agree with me or not. This is not a thing, but this is something that happens. Hair loss.
Oh, okay.
Huge.
Because I didn't start losing my hair until I came out as trans. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm not even on T. What the hell?
So it's like
Hold on.
I don't want to
No,
say a
damn it.
curse, but
Yeah. Even my model is missing parts of its hair.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, especially with the little where the
scar,
scar. Yeah.
okay. On that note of like hair loss, for me, the biggest sign of like coming out even before I was on any T blockers or estrogen was I walked differently. I like carried myself completely different with the knowledge of this is what I want to be. And it was like I was walking down a runway. Um that's like the only way I could explain it. So whenever nobody's looking, I like I strike a pose every so often, and I do a little twirl.
That is absolutely adorable. I love that. For me, I started having to use a cane, so
Okay.
Yeah.
That's certainly one way to walk differently. That's for damn sure.
yeah. Came out as trans, also became disabled. Let's go.
Oh, we might actually have talked about it when I interviewed you last. Which, by the way, right here, I did interview the titular Uncle Grandpa. So,
Ah.
but yeah, that has been our weeks, and with that, we've got a topic today. The VTuber. What is it? What is a VTuber? So we've hired Sam here to tell us what a VTuber is.
I mean, the original term for it, I do believe, was virtual YouTuber.
Yep.
Basically is a person who uses an avatar, mostly like either an anime or cartoon style character instead of a webcam, and that's the best way that I can describe what a VTuber is.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it would be a good idea to describe it first off because, like, even though, like I said before, a lot of our you both are VTubers. A lot of our friends that probably watch this VTubers. They're probably people that are outside the realm that just came across this term. It's like, what the hell is a VTuber?
My mom.
My
you go.
mom.
Yeah. VTubing is kind of, I guess, in the most simplest ways, it's a different form of expression to what you would do with your normal face. So, you watch any other streamer, they have to emote a little bit more and do all of that. Behind the proverbial VTuber lens, we are making the goofiest faces to make our models do the specific thing that we want without the embarrassment of people seeing those goofy faces. So, and it is ever since, the big C dropped in 2020, it has skyrocketed in popularity as an art form for people to use on stream. Even people who were originally what we've called in the intro flesh tubers, um, they will occasionally bring up, a PNG that has a talking motion, or even models like this. They go back and forth, all the way to the pure VTubers, like I guess us, and then we have Nathan.
I'm just here for the food.
So VTubing as a whole, I have, someone in here, obviously Sam, who is a VTuber, and Nathan, who is not a VTuber. How do the both of you view VTubing from your own personal lens?
You want to take this one first, Sam, or you want me to tackle it first?
You go first.
I go first. Well, I mean, for me on the outside, okay. At first, I didn't exactly get the gimmick of it. I didn't fully understand of it. I mean, to be fair, the first time I ever even heard of VTubing was when Pokimane used a VTuber model like once or like for a week or something along the lines of that. But thankfully, with the help of people like Sam and getting to introduce myself more to VTubers and such, I totally understood that like VTubing is away from people that, may not have the full on courage or, find the creativity in presenting themselves as a different person. I get how they can use that model to truly express themselves the way that they want to really put out the person that they truly envision themselves to be, to match up the personality type that they want to. I mean, I know that it's a blend of people that use it to because they want to keep like their identity somewhat safe, and for some people that just want to use it because hey, it's this cool, wacky, possibly trendy, but like cool little thing that people can use to present themselves. I get how people use it, present themselves with it, and have a fun time, really getting to express themselves that they may not have had the opportunity to otherwise because again, they may not have felt confident enough to just turn on the webcam and to show, the flesh tuber like you see me being right here,
Yep.
My cat was interrupting you like the whole time.
Bring the cat on, everybody. Bring the cat on.
There you go.
Yeah, so like if y'all see my model like messing up or stuff like that, for people who can like see this, if I look away, my model like snaps back to its original position. That was me trying to get my cat to shut up the whole time.
Oh god, yes. I know the feeling
Bring it.
all too
Make
well.
make a VTuber model for your cat. Let your
Oh my
cat join the virtual realm.
I love my cats, but no way in heck. The only one I'd do that for probably is Cricket, the new one that I keep telling y'all is on crack. I have never had a cat who jumps everywhere she goes. Her legs are fine. She's absolutely fine. She just jumps everywhere. Also, give me like 2 seconds. Celia, baby, stop it.
Anybody at home who is a VTuber and has an animal, probably more than likely a cat that likes to jump in front of your camera, hello, welcome. You're not alone. That is also me. I have to fight her off all the time. So,
Yeah, same. And then the little one, Cricket, likes to sharpen her nails on my PC.
oh,
lovely.
God,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, sorry, I derailed that so
No,
quickly.
you're
Okay.
fine. You're fine.
So my whole thing about VTubing and stuff like that, for those of you who don't know, I actually started content creation in 2010. I was a Minecraft YouTuber and a group that I will not mention. They were disbanded forever ago. So I started off being a flesh tuber and stuff like that. Started my own YouTube channel, yada yada yada. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I keep getting like really weird comments about my appearance that I don't appreciate, stuff like that. And so whenever VTubing was introduced, I was like, you know what, this seems like fun. I want to give this a go. And as a trans man, being able to be something that more so represents me than, you know, what I see in the mirror is just kind of euphoric. So it's not only about hiding one's appearance, it's about being able to express ourselves in a way that we wouldn't normally be able to in our day-to-day life. Like the whole grandpa aspect. I'm a very sickly person. I'm probably not going to make it to my elderlyhood. So being able to see myself as an old person really brings like joy to me and some hope.
In that, like,
So
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I always go back to what Iron Mouse says when she refers to like what is VTubing to her, and it's like donning a mask, like a superhero mask, so that you can be the ideal person that you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And like a lot of people, I'm gonna be honest and like consider this my VTuber hot take, I guess, and
I'm
y'all can be
ready.
mad at me if y'all want to. A lot of us are neurospicy. A lot of us have ways of expressing ourselves that aren't socially quote unquote normal.
That is a
And
term that I don't think I've ever heard used ever, but I love it.
like a lot of us are on the spectrum, a lot of us have our own disorders, problems, disabilities, things of the sort, and being able to be a VTuber, it's like we get to step away from that for just a little bit and surround ourselves with people who actually fucking get it.
Oh yeah.
So it's absolutely freaking amazing. Now there's a downside to VTubing. Lot of bad actors that hide behind their models and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But gosh dang, have I not met like some of the most amazing people.
I was gonna say I know. I was gonna say I know. Like for you in particular, like didn't you recently go to TwitchCon to meet up with a bunch of those VTubers, like people that you've met online and such?
Yes, I did, and it was absolutely amazing. I'm gonna name drop one of them.
Okay.
Dockleton. Jay
Yep.
Dockleton. I actually have a tattoo of his VTuber model on my arm. He is my best fucking friend. He is absolutely amazing. And he is a therapist and in the Navy in real life. So like besides being a VTuber, he has amazing fucking jobs. And like Space Pirate K is another one of my best friends, and like he's a father and does a lot of stuff in the background as well. VTubing is just an escape for a lot of people, but like it's also some of our lives. I'm disabled. I don't get out a lot. Streaming is a job that I can do in the comfort of my own home and I get to be surrounded by people, so I get my, like The Sims, I get my social filled up. And like it's just this has become my life, and not only has it opened so many doors for me, like back when we first did our first interview together on your post modern art podcast,
Thank you for the
I
plug.
I have never traveled, and we had talked about that a little bit before we started like actually recording. Since then, I've been all over the place. I've been to Dallas, San Diego, San Francisco, and Las Vegas.
There you go.
All because of VTubing. It's wild.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, no kidding.
A
Go ahead.
profession that you would think would put you into your house more got you out of the house more than you ever had. Which
Yeah.
that is like the other stigma is that okay, I need to talk about this. I'm sorry to bring this up. I see this all over the internet. We always get the people who are saying VTubers are cringe. They need to get a life. They need to go touch grass. But I would say we touch grass more often than people would think, and those people online.
Oh yeah. Listen. The past four, I've been a VTuber for 4 years. I have touched more grass and ass in the past 4 years than I have my entire life.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
And
And
so
then
like
all those other guys can just eat it.
yeah, eat the fattest part of my butt cheek is what I usually say.
There you go.
It's a job, like any other job. And it's just because people see it and they're like, all you're doing is sitting in front of a camera, yada yada. I am sitting in front of a camera talking for 6 to 7 hours, gosh dang straight,
Yep.
trying to entertain between 15 and 50 people, and trying to make that bag. Like, streaming is the hardest job I've ever done, and I've done a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into the background, especially if you are like really in it and it's more than just a hobby. You want to make something out of it. It's kind of akin to the mantra of being a starving artist.
Oh yeah.
Because unless you have the connections, we'll call them the industry connections, it's very, very difficult to get started indie, which a lot of us are. We refer to ourselves as indie VTubers because we're not part of a corporation group, not to be confused with a group like Sam is making. It's a on your own personal funding.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like another added obstacle the way of everything because you need to eventually get yourself a microphone, have a strong enough computer that can run your avatar. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody can turn on their camera and stream, but a VTuber needs a little bit stronger of a computer to make it all work out for the most part. God bless the PNG tubers, though.
Yeah, no joke. I was gonna say, like for example, with what I'm doing, like when it comes to the postmodern art podcast and stuff like that, like I have $1,000 gaming laptop, a camera that I don't even know how much it was, but it's like cheap as all get out, a $100 USB microphone and stuff, and like yeah, you see what you get. You know, it's very basic, very bare bones. If I tried to incorporate like PNG tubing, I think it's possible. But like if I try to get like the full VTubing aspect of it, I'm pretty sure my laptop will start like smoking just by installing VTube Studio. Like just by doing that alone, the laptop's gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Okay.
I mean, that's why I always tell people to, if they decide that they want to be a VTuber, to start off being a PNG tuber, because in my experience in the past 4 years, like I've said, I have met so many people and gotten close to a lot of people who spent thousands on a VTuber model only to quit the next month because they're like, I don't actually like this.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Dip your toes in first. Don't dive into the shallow end of the pool before you know where the deep end is. It takes preparation as with most things. And Nathan, you dropped about how much you spent on your computer and setup. Sam, how much money do you think you have spent on all of your stuff? Like for everything
Oh,
contributing to VTubing and streaming.
oh God!
It's
Don't
all right.
ask me
It's
that.
it's a judge-free zone. We're not judging. This is
I
this is just a
okay,
benchmark.
okay. Listen. I have been lucky enough that my community has come together and helped me fund a lot of this.
hmm
So whenever I first started VTubing, my first ever model was about $400. And I did not
Okay.
do my research. I got mine done by an artist that turned out to be scamming a lot of people.
Um,
So I had to very quickly replace my model because unfortunately, having your name attached to an asshole like that's gonna eventually bite you in the ass.
yep.
So I had to very quickly get a new model. That model cost me me and my community about $1,500. And then the one that I'm currently using close to 2K. The PC that I have, thankfully, a wonderful community member actually custom built it for me, so I don't have to worry about it dying again. Because my previous one died on me.
hmm
Was once again 2,000 something dollars. My AT 2020 voice acting microphone and everything that comes with it was like $500. And then I
hmm
had to get an iPhone for V-Bridger tracking,
Yep.
and that was like $200. Good lord. Not only that, a game capture card.
Mhm.
A Another microphone because my voice acting microphone is weird quality, so I like to use a different one because the one I'm using right now is a Hyper Quadcast.
hmm
Uh, a desk. I had to get a desk
Yep.
because
Yep.
I was streaming from a kitchen table for like 3 years.
Yes. I did the same.
I'll say, to be fair, I'm using like a cheap like $20 like little fold out personal table that I got from like Walmart for my little laptop.
listen,
So
listen. You start somewhere. Like I literally streamed from a kitchen table right next to. You were there when it happened. When the person
yes.
walked into my apartment.
Yeah, I had
Oh
I,
yeah.
yeah, I literally just hopped into the call right after that happened, and you were just telling me all about it. You were freaking out, justifiably so. You were freaking out about
Yeah, you were
it.
the one that convinced me to call the cops because I was like,
Yes.
do I call the cops that somebody just broke into my apartment and wouldn't leave? What do I do?
It's like, yeah, you should. It probably would be a smart idea.
That's the reason why I got the desk is because I'm all the way across the room now, away from the damn front door because it happened twice.
hmm
Oh God.
But okay, all in all, with all of the commissions and stuff that I've gotten as well, the overlays, the emotes, and all of that stuff, I'm going to say, I'm gonna say like a flat 10K.
Yep.
That seems about right. That
Yep.
seems about right.
Yeah, I'm
So,
roughly
mhm.
around that point too. Like I'm around that 8 to 9K ballpark on my end. So
And like I'm going to say, I'm putting my hands together and thanking all of my community members because a lot of people know I live paycheck to paycheck. None of this, none of my VTubing, none of my traveling, none of my computer needs or anything would have been possible without the people who have helped me so much. So
Mhm.
like I try to do my best to repay people. I do take art commissions and stuff like that every once in a while. Right now I'm booked solid. But I try to give back to my community as much as possible. And this is I've never felt so old in my life. Here recently I've allowed my community to decide what I stream. Can you guess what they've been having me stream?
I can't even imagine. Is it like
Hmm.
I want to say like some of the most Zoomer stuff on the planet, but I'm not
Solitaire.
sure. Solitaire?
Solitaire.
Solitaire.
Wow.
I have been streaming the Walking Dead series and Solitaire.
Okay.
And that's it. because anytime I try to do anything else besides solitaire, my community gets mad.
You
We
gotta
want
know when to hold
solitaire.
them.
We want solitaire.
It's silly because the other day I spent like 6-hour stream doing nothing but playing solitaire and bitching about it.
I love moments like that. And this kind of like goes into like a really good talking point as far as that goes. But sometimes the thing that you plan the most for ends up being the thing that is like your least viewed thing ever. But then
Oh
the
my
thing that you
god.
throw out on the fly is your community loves it. And overall, like you're talking about it too. One of the greatest things that we have as far as VTubers go, not that we're exclusive to it, is community is so strong here, like unbelievably so.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The community. Oh, okay, so here's the deal. I have very strong opinions about community and
Hmm.
the VTuber sphere and stuff like that. Because the whole point of being a VTuber and being a streamer is cultivating your community in a way that it is welcoming and friendly and stuff like that. I always say if you surround yourself by shit people, you yourself are going to be a shit person.
Yep.
Um, I don't want to be surrounded by people who make me uncomfortable. I don't want to be surrounded by people who think that they are owed my free time because they send me money. I don't want to be surrounded by people who do nothing but talk shit about others. Like, I have worked so hard to cultivate my community to be welcoming and loving towards not just me, but themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of VTubers should do that.
You would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can say at least from my own like personal experience, like being a part of the community or whatnot, like at least the VTuber community. Ever since I've really immersed myself in that world and really got to familiarize myself with the people, the VTuber community is honestly one of the strongest communities out there, for better or for worse. But it's definitely like one of the strongest communities that are out there. I mean, for God's sake, Sam, if it wasn't for me introducing myself to you and us having that interview on the podcast, you wouldn't invite me to your server. Um, to where I met a whole bunch of other VTubers, including ones like Rocco, who I eventually got into his server, meeting a whole bunch of different other VTubers and such. Long story short, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now because like
Hmm.
it's because of that meeting other people, meeting other VTubers and stuff like that. I eventually got introduced myself to Iris, and here we are, having a podcast together.
Yeah.
So
It's
that
Like
sorry, go
that
on.
that's networking for you.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It is
And
scary to think like me as the little I just started out, I'm gonna be a little frog VTuber, poison dart frog, and everyone's like, oh, but this person's this and this person's that, and the Eldritch Grandpa, I just got followed by him, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait, I'll get popular enough for him to follow me, and then you did, and I was like, oh, and now look at me, I'm washed, I'm not streaming at the moment, I'm tired.
You're coming back soon. You're coming back soon.
Soon,
I think
soon.
I was gonna say I think by the time this episode comes out, if you haven't already, you should be about like what, less than a week away, maybe.
Hopefully, October
Oh,
31st. Let's go, Halloween
Let's
yep.
time,
go.
baby. But like the so not only just Poison Points as my VTuber podcast, but the people that I have met through the Smoking Bandit to Banicula Live to Sasha to Pinch Raccoon to Space Buffoon, all of these people who are now like my best friends in this space that I trust with my life, um, is it brings me back to my old MMO days when there's also anonymity there, where you just kind of grow connections with people you will never see. Um, it can be dangerous. Don't get me wrong. Same with VTubing. But
Hmm.
there's a certain nostalgia that it brings me back to my youth to be a part of communities that are filled with people that I trust, that have good heads on their shoulders, foster great communities. Grandpa, you being one of them, and trying to at least I talked about it last week with my inspirations, where I try to discard the stuff that I dislike or I find conflicts with my moral compass and just take in all of the good. I'm an absorber. I absorb everyone's everything. I'm a stew pot of everything that I've ever experienced in my life. So, um, fuck, I lost my train of thought. I went on a huge tangent for myself. I apologize.
I mean, I think the long and short of it is that, like, especially given the community that we have, like, it's incredible how it could lead to such strong connections. But also it's not like, every single community is exactly the best to be around. There are always those situations when, especially in the VTuber community, I'm pretty sure VTuber drama alone is always such a fun topic to bring up every once in a
Oh,
while.
Oh,
yeah.
don't even get me freaking started, okay? I, unfortunately, being a grandpa streamer, anytime something happens, somebody has to tell me about it.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I don't know what people expect out of me. I'm not a judge. Like, I know that my name means Judge of the Sea, but, like, don't make me a judge of VTuber drama, please.
Oh god.
So,
Yeah.
so Sam, what's your opinion on the brand new freaking restrictions on hips when it comes to VTuber?
That was always a thing. They just
Yep.
worded it stronger. It has always been a thing. And
Right.
I'm sorry that my hips don't lie and I got freaking hips banned off of Twitch, alright? I'll take the L on that one.
I want to lie, my hips don't lie, I'm starting to feel you.
It is one of those things, and me and you, Sam, don't really like interact on a daily basis because we foster our own communities, and that's like its own thing. That's totally a normal thing that happens even in real life. But the things that I get told, because I'm known as like the drama girl who likes to come in and be like, "Oh, did you guys hear about this?" And then everyone just started throwing all of this, like, "Did you hear about this?" And then I'm like, "Okay, I need to slow down." Um, but it kind of, some parts of VTubing feel like high school again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. 100% it is because like I'm gonna put it to you this way, and like another VTuber hot take. A lot of people in the VTuber community, like I said, are neurospicy or like leaning towards so the whole thing about it is a lot of us haven't gotten to experience clicks and now we're in clicks.
Yep.
So now we are experiencing what high school should have been for us, and people are taking it too far. We're most of us are adults. Like I'm 32, about to be 33 in February. Okay, I don't want to deal with your bullshit. I play an old man for a fucking reason.
Also, I'm sorry, I'm starting to feel old as well just by you saying that, because last time I remember, I thought you were still 30. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm 32, going on 33.
Age takes us all.
Yeah.
The click thing, I feel that's where, when I really started to experience it, was the first time ever during doing this entire ordeal that I wanted to not be a VTuber. I wanted to just shun the name and just be me, doing my own thing. And then I really started feeling it strongly with my group of people, my VTuber friends. Um, it's for me it's weird, and it might not be the same way for everybody else, but I hate it when things are like, you got to do it this way or you're not a part of us, or every interaction that you have has to be purely based on business, and if you have nothing to offer somebody else, you're practically worthless to them. You might as well not DM them. I've gotten that a lot from a lot of VTubers. Won't name names, I don't want to stir up any shit like that and ruin any connections, but it's hard out there in these streets to find someone to talk to at all. Finding a guest star on a podcast that is about interviewing VTubers was very difficult, I will say. So
See, that's why I do what I do. Like my whole thing is I'll talk to anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't even look at your numbers. My whole thing is just like, if you approach me, I'm gonna talk to you. I even go out of my way to approach other people. I'll have people message me and be like, "Hey, my friend so and so thinks you're really cool, but they're too shy to message you." And I'll be like, "All right, done. I'll send them a message, see what's up and all that stuff." I want to be the type of person that people can approach and feel comfortable with. I do have strict rules though. You break my boundaries, and then we're gonna have a problem.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to be that type of person because yes, I've experienced it. I have. Even like a lot of people know me as the quote unquote micro celebrity and shit like that. I don't see it that way. I'm just a dude who's having fun. I like making connections. I like making friends. As long as you don't break my boundaries or things like that, we'll be just fine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that's honestly all it needs to be. No crazy like he said she said bullshit that a lot of people like to dive into. A lot of people see um this is like insanely like when you deep in the iceberg, so not everyone will get this. But there's this thing that people try to do where they try to instigate as much drama as possible because it worked for one big VTuber or like a couple of big VTubers. Um, but the consequences on return are like so dramatic that they end up, leaving and graduating anyways. So,
Yeah.
like, what was the point, man? You did this for nothing.
Yeah, so my whole thing to when it comes to VTuber drama and stuff like that, I think in certain instances, call-outs are appropriate, especially if it involves serious things. Like, at that point, it's no longer drama, this is serious.
Yep.
Yes.
But this he said, she said bullcrap is something that you will never know which side is telling the truth, even with screenshots, because people will take them out of context.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'm not even going to sit here and say that I don't have skeletons in my closet. I've been called out before. And the person who called me out, we actually sat down, had an adult conversation, and solved our differences. And guess what? We're still talking to this day.
Yep.
It's the simple fact that some people won't take responsibility for their own side of their toxic behavior. So they'll try and double down and say, I did nothing wrong. It was all this person. And everybody else is just like, no, you had a fault in this.
Yep.
People aren't willing to take responsibilities for their own fuck ups because they think that it's going to tarnish their reputation, but they don't understand. People will honestly respect them more for taking ownership of their own fuck ups.
Yep.
I feel like that's true with just like I know we're specifically talking about VTubers and VTuber drama and stuff like that, but I feel like that's the case just anywhere you go in life. Like,
exactly.
like literally, all you have to do is just admit that, like, yeah, I also fucked up when it comes to this situation, and people will at least respect you for at least owning up to that shit instead of just being like, it's just them, it's this person over there, it's all them. Look, they're doing all the bad things. That's like, no, it's like, yeah, I may have had a hand in it, I instigated it, and so it's like doing at least that, like, people respect you more.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, a lot of people are afraid that their past will be brought up and stuff like that. I have never really been too afraid of that because I've always been open about my past. I used to be a racist, homophobic asshole. And like, am I ashamed of it? Yes. Am I ashamed to talk about it? No. Because that was who I was in the past. That's not me anymore. I mean, for goodness sakes, I'm a trans man now. Married to a gender fluid. I call her my wife because that's what she prefers online. My entire life has changed. I'm 32 going on 33, like I said. And I was that way when I was like 16. So, like, people change. And yes, I understand there are some things that I won't forgive. Anything involving children or animals, I will not forgive you.
Yep.
There you go.
But, like, people change. And they should be given the opportunity to change depending on the situation. Does that mean that the people that they hurt have to forgive them? Fuck no. But they should be given the ability to at least attempt to change, especially if they've gone to therapy and all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was prior extremely religious, and with that came a dose of homophobia. And eventually, I left that place to chase after a girl I liked, and then that opened up my world. And then after that, the girl left me. It was like, oh, and now I'm on my own. What do I do? And I got to meet so many people with these new connections, and I got out of it. Look at me now, trans woman. I guess semi-religious, sort of. It's complicated,
Oh,
complicated relationship.
yeah. I still consider myself Christian.
Hmm.
I still believe in a higher power and all that stuff. Am I going to
Yeah.
sit there and shove it down people's fucking throats? No.
Hmm. Because
It's
you don't want it to happen to you.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Especially where I fucking live. I will tell y'all
Yeah.
one quick story. I do not like a certain group of people who come to the door and try and like shove religion down your throat and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
whenever I tell them, I'm not really interested in stuff, and they'll say, "Bye, God bless you," I'll say, "Hail Satan," and then shut the door.
Yes.
I've not had that opportunity yet, but I've always wanted to say something along the lines of, "Oh, I can't make it. I'm actually attending the Satan convention this week." So,
Yeah, like it's hilarious. Um, oh my
I
goodness.
there was this meme online that I want to execute at some point of some guy, like, they get that person come to the door and the person's like, "Hi, you hear about Jesus?" and starts just doing hand signals and stuff like that. And it's like, "Oh, are you mute? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. You have a blessed day. So do you." Close the door on him.
oh my goodness.
Oh my god, that's messed up. Uh,
I was gonna say,
oh.
you guys are talking about your past and stuff like that. Thanks to now, I've just been perfect all my life. No, no, no. I'll admit there was times whenever I was like really little ignorant more than anything else, where I was majorly homophobic. But again, I was ignorant more than anything else. And Sam, you could attest to this. Growing up in the South, you get around certain people that have certain mentalities and stuff. So like you don't really know better, but kind of like what you were talking about, you got older, you grew, you learned, you didn't stay in that little secluded little box of how you were
hmm
raised or whatnot. You took the opportunity to think and reflect and be an independent person.
I got
Mhm.
away from the people who tried to shove it down my throat, aka my
Exactly.
parents.
Yeah. Where do I want to go with this? When you're like 16, you are not even close to being half the person that you will be in the future. So
Mhm.
there's no sense in dwelling on, like, well, at least for other people to dwell on that stuff that you did or said or believed, because come 1 year from that moment, you can change so much that you're a completely different person from the person you knew from that last year. And you mentioned being, ashamed of it, feeling some shame for it. I think that just shows growth.
Oh
Um, yeah, nobody would ever take that from you, uh, whatsoever. And those people that do, they can shove it up their ass.
yeah. Well,
Exactly.
like I said, like a lot of people talk about having skeletons in their closet and stuff. Mine are on display.
Hmm.
I've never not been open about my shitty behavior and stuff like that. And I'm human. There are still going to be moments to where I do shitty things and things like that. It's all about taking accountability and taking responsibility for those shitty actions. Like, I want to be the type of person that can take responsibility for my fuck ups when I know that I fucked up. And I have
Hmm.
friends. This is one of the most important things that I can say for you VTubers out there listening. You need friends that are willing to sit you down and say you done fucked up.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You need friends that will make you take responsibility.
Yep. I've had a couple of those moments. I could literally count them on my hand, and I've grown from them. And I've become a different person even through VTubing because of it.
Excuse
Um,
me.
and speaking of being human, great, another segue, segue queen right here.
Yeah, from the queen of segues herself.
So there's this whole thing uh, with VTubers, just to explain for everybody at home. The big corporate VTubers, the ones like the HoloLive, the VShojo, a lot of people like very much look up to them. Some bordering on parasocially to the point where it's like all one sided. They're in love with their VTuber. calling them their Oshis and everything. That's a culture that I don't want to judge, obviously. But it's not for me as a VTuber. I don't want that kind of relationship with my community, the people who stop by on stream. But I'm curious for the both of you. What is your what is your viewpoint on the streamer being more than a human and they're elevated to their avatar status?
I think you kind of nailed it on the head a little bit with just kind of this weird parasocial thing. Because I mean, it's not just limited to VTubers when it comes to that sense. Like, look at a lot of these successful like online content creators just as a whole, and how some of them have that weird,
Markiplier.
Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye,
Germa, yeah.
Germa, freaking KSI, Logan Paul, those pieces of
Saber
shit,
Sparks.
Saber Sparks, all that, all those people like having that weird parasocial relationship. Like on the one hand, like I can understand where the people themselves are coming from. This is the one person that they can more or less go to, and they feel like a sense of comfort, a sense of relief, because it's the people that, when everyone else seems to more or less fail, like they're the one people or group of people that they go to, and they're kind of just they're there. They're there to entertain. They're there to have a good time. At the same time, though, you have to for a lot of these people, at least for me personally, I kind of understand that there's a certain disconnect that needs to be there. Like, as much as you want them to be your friends and stuff like that, that's not always going to happen. It's not I'm not saying it's never going to happen, because there are certainly opportunities where fans get the opportunity to meet some of these heroes and get to introduce themselves and all that kind of stuff. But it's not always going to happen, and you got to understand that these people are mainly there for entertainment and such. And again, I hate wanting to crush these people's souls, because I get it. There are times where I can easily just go on to YouTube, go to my subscriptions, and find those good couple of group of people that I can just go to and just kind of get lost and just relax based on the chaos that's going on around me more than anything else. But I also understand that they're doing it for a job, and they're doing it to entertain. They're not there directly for me,
Yeah. They're there for people like you.
Exactly.
But not for you.
And I was gonna say, and especially when it comes to VTubers, they could certainly take that element to a whole different level, considering the fact that they are portraying themselves in a certain way that, for some it's an extension of them, and for some people it's just a completely different person, so they can have their own kind of mental block brigade of who they really are or whatnot.
I mean, I totally agree with all of that, but there's a reason why I giggled while you were talking. I have been kind of on the opposite side of things, which is really weird to say. So I've met all of the VTubers I look up to. I've gotten to meet all of them. I don't really look up to a lot of corpo VTubers. The only one that I actually really enjoy and stuff like that is Iron Mouse and Cinder. But at the same time, I don't watch them that often. Not even most, all of them. All of the ones that I quote unquote would call my Oshis or people that I look up to, I've had the luck to actually meet them and talk to them and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, in certain instances, it wasn't a good thing.
Right.
It was not a fucking good thing. There was a certain VTuber that I looked up to a hell of a lot, who, come to find out, was a transphobic, homophobic piece of shit. And I regret ever meeting them in person. But I've had instances of that parasocial relationship with community members, and it is one of the most uncomfortable situations that you can get yourself into. I can't even tell you the amount of times I have been sent dick pics.
Oh, God.
An old man on the internet being sent dick pics. And I have a funny story involving one, if y'all would like to hear it.
I was trying to come up with like a funny quip, but
Go
ahead.
I'll say, wait, I can think of a quick little quip or whatnot. It's like, you are saying you're trans, so maybe they're sending you potential replacements at some point, if you can get that bomb surge, it's like, here, have mine.
No, I actually have a really funny story about this. So I decided to fuck with someone who sent me a dick pic. And I was like, hey, yo, what's wrong with it? And they were like, what the fuck do you mean what's wrong with it? I'm like, you need to go to the doctor. Something's wrong. And they like cussed me out, used every slur in the book, and blocked me. About a month later, they unblocked me and messaged me and were like, hey, so I decided to take your advice and went to the doctor. Come to find out there actually was something wrong.
Oh,
my
shit.
God. Oh my God.
And they were just like, thanks for the advice, but I'm never fucking talking to you again, and then blocked me again. And I'm just like, oh, well, I guess that had a happy ending.
And that was just a wild coincidence, right? You barely even looked.
Yeah.
Like
I have phallophobia, which is the fear of penis. I don't want to see that shit.
I mean, it's not the happy ending they were hoping for, but it's a happy ending regardless.
Like, yeah, like that was the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah,
oh, goodness.
Fan interactions. That's one thing. Being a VTuber is.
Yeah. I became an old man VTuber for two reasons. One of them is because it's just really nice seeing myself as an old man, because I don't know if I'm going to make it to my elderlyhood. Second thing is I did not want to be seen as like quote unquote like sex icon or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, was I not expecting what happened.
Oh yeah. You've told me this before. Your community is wild.
My community is wild. I've been called a gilf, grandpa I'd like to fuck, and the amount of times I've been called daddy is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's one of those, like, this is the internet, especially this very niche area of the internet that is streaming and stuff. The people are gonna find their way to you that appreciate that stuff, because on the internet you're allowed to be a little bit more free than if you were in public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did not know that there was like a whole thing for quote unquote silver foxes.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So like I was just like, well, this is happening, I guess.
I mean, there's a thing for cougars. Why not silver foxes, you know?
I mean, sure. But I designed Grandpa to be your Joe Everyman. His design is just supposed to be like someone you could see in the background of an anime or a video game. Not important, an NPC looking ass. Oh my god, did I not know that there was a market for that? When I first started VTubing, I was the only old man. And like people took notice of that, and that's why I got like quote unquote popular to begin with, because I was the only one. And I'm gonna tell you one thing real quick. The one person that I did actually get to meet in my first year of VTubing, there have been some things that a little bit questionable, stuff like that, but they always take responsibility for the shit that they do, and I appreciate that. I got to meet Takahata.
Right.
Yep.
And I was very pleasantly surprised, because I had in my mind, well, this is kind of a corpo man, they're probably going to be, kind of uptight. Oh my god. Oh my god. The guy, ADHD, just like me, crazy. I was so nervous that I accidentally introduced my two friends as my daddies, and it's been a running joke since that, and I've been on the stream several times since. Takahata is fantastic.
Yes. Goodness. Talking about all these different models, especially how you made yours or whatnot, there's a question that I wanted to ask real quickly, and I want to get both y'all's opinion or whatnot. Aside from your own, is there any VTuber models or VTubers that you are more or less impressed with? Like, just with how they're able to present themselves? Because I have a couple in mind as well.
So I'm gonna try and look them up real quick to get their name right. There is a PNG tuber that I am obsessed with.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out what the heck their name is. Hold on. I thought it was It's Goblin.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know what you're
Goblin.
talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out their actual name.
Is it Hey, it's Goblin?
Hold on. Hey, it's.
I think it's just This Is Goblin.
This is Goblin? Okay, hold on. This is Goblin. Yes, this is Goblin. This is Goblin. They are so freaking impressive.
Yes.
The fact that they are so animated and stuff like that, they've got animations for like everything, and they are literally just a PNG tuber. I aspire to be able to do that kind of thing. I actually got commissioned to make a full model in that style, not the Goblin style in my own art style, but like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely fucking adore them. And like, if they're listening to this, I need to get you on my stream at some point. I need to talk to you.
I will not so subtly like at him in the in the media. No, I probably won't do that as much as I would like to.
I'll
Fuck
do
it.
it myself.
I'll say fuck it. I will.
This is how I actually got to interview Wes Johnson. Is literally because
Right.
I added him in a Twitter post and was like, "Hey, I like your shit. Can I talk to you?" And he was just like, "Yeah."
There you go.
That's it.
Do you think I could at like Hugh Laurie if he's even on Twitter and get him on?
Yes.
my
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I don't care. Do it anyway.
I messaged Paul Rugg, the voice of Freakazoid, on Twitter. I did not get a response for 6 months, but
Okay.
I got a response, and he was just like, "Hey, I don't check my Twitter that often. I would love to be on your stream. Yada yada. Let's do this." I nearly shit myself. Like, my whole thing is shoot your shot. The worst possible outcome is they block you.
Oh yeah.
And then you don't need to be interacting with them anyway if they're going to be that fucking petty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like if they just leave it at that, like a don't respond, leave you on hold, then it's not a bad thing. It was just you just move on with your day and you do your own thing, move on to the next project. So
yeah.
But if I had to choose on a similar vein to Sam here, a PNG tuber that I enjoy, her name is Oceanax.
Yes, the magic girl.
Yeah, she is a magical girl, strictly PNG tuber that is more expressive than most like corporate VTubers that I've ever seen. She is amazing. Every little bit is memorized. Everything is hotkeyed out for her. She has so many different bits and bobbles and redeems. And I gotta say, this is just a little bit of like, for those that are struggling with, I've streamed for so long, I'm not getting my breakout success. She is at 892 streams, I believe. She counts every single stream that she does. She didn't hit partner until like two or 3 months ago.
God damn.
So she worked really freaking hard to get where she is today.
No kidding. I listen. I'm at almost 6K on Twitch. Okay. I have done 2 partner pushes, and both of them led me to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Like partner pushes and getting partner is freaking difficult, and the fact that they were able to do it even in that short time is absolutely freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to say that it was like a short amount of time. This is 800 plus streams of work. So by the time that she hit partner, it was probably like around her 750th stream, if I had to give a rough estimate. So she's been doing it for a very long time.
Yeah, at least a good couple of years. Like even if you take like the basic mentality of like, you know, if those streams were like a day, and you're obviously, I don't know if she does, but you know, streaming like every single day or whatnot, even if it's only like a couple of days, that's at least a good couple of years of streaming.
Yep. And she is very inspiring. So not only is her model great, or her PNG tuber great, she is great. So.
Oh yeah, no, I've had the joy of being able to speak to her just a little bit about like the animations and stuff like that. that she's been able to create. Now, the reason why I say such a short time is because, like, for me, for instance, I've been doing this for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and like, there are people who have been streaming for like 10
Yeah.
and still haven't hit partner. The fact that they were able to do it in the time frame that they did and things like that is so impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but my bad. My scope of like what is impressive for hitting partner, I don't know. It's all fucked up and weird.
No, just hitting partner is impressive.
Oh yeah, yeah. And for those that don't know, on Twitch you can basically achieve a higher status as a streamer. You have to have consistently, because the other two were very easy to hit goal wise. You need to have consistent 70 viewers that are actively watching you, not just like someone can't. Well, now it works through raids, but like if someone's just kind of sitting there, it doesn't really count. And Twitch is like, keep going. It's funky and difficult and weird. 70 people is a lot. That's
Yeah.
a lot of people to have sitting at the same time. So hitting that plateau is the hardest step to like what a lot of us would call the breakout. Just pushing past that goal. And then from there, it's a little easier. Just not a lot, but it is at least a little easier after that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Streaming's hard.
It is. And so I was gonna say, going back to what we were initially talking about when it comes to the models or whatnot, I could literally have just an entire episode of this podcast talking about all the different VTubers that I am impressed with just by their models alone. I'll limit it to 3 for now. I mean, we can add some more if we want to keep this chat going about different models. One of them, I just gotta shout out my good friend Roshan Galaxy. I love their nebula cloud design that they got for themselves. It's absolutely like it fits their vibe perfectly. I especially with how they present themselves. Second one is someone by the name of Alpine Showtime.
Oh, Alpine.
God, yes.
The way that Alpine is able to just not just make impressive models, but like constantly change the models, and each one is just as impressive, if not more impressive than the previous one. How frequently and such, I cannot get enough of Alpine and what they're able to present and such, especially with how they're trying to like push the VTubing software and such to present like different ways to present themselves. Like, didn't they recently introduce like a claymation-esque style one or something like that?
Yep.
They scare me.
Like,
they terrify me.
Yeah, Alpine, the things that they have been doing have been absolutely freaking ridiculous.
Absolutely. And then the third one I want to mention, and the only so it's funny that you had mentioned This Is Goblin, Sam, because the person I was thinking of actually recently appeared on This Is Goblin,
I
and
know
that
you're
is
about to say.
is a person by the name of Nilbog Live.
Yep.
The way that they are able to like present themselves, like it's I love their model because it looks like something that's like straight from like I don't know, like a modern day like Spyro or something like that.
Yes.
Or like I love how legitimately animated their model looks because it looks impressive more than anything else.
Oh yeah, like so I know the first one you mentioned is Roshan.
Yeah, Roshan Galaxy. Yeah,
Roshan. I've spoken to them several times. We have a very funny relationship. We both really like each other, but we're both too shy to talk to each other.
Yep, I've heard that. I've also heard that from Roshan as well.
Oh my god! You message Roshan right now and tell them to talk to me. Damn it!
I challenge you, Sam, to do it yourself.
Okay, hold on.
Hey,
Literally
we are talking about you.
Literally, while we were talking right now, I actually messaged, "Hey, it's Goblin," to be like, "Hey, I think you're really cool. We should talk sometime."
There you go.
Because that's how I roll.
Yeah, that brings a good point, and I we could talk about VTubing forever, but I think this is a good topic to leave off on. We talked about community, but community isn't just the people in it. There's the networking side of things.
Yep.
And even talking right now, me and Grandpa, and even you, Nathan, were like, "Oh, I know this person," or
Yep.
"I've heard of this person through this person." It is a community that is separated, yet couldn't be more close because of the connections that people have. So what I want to ask is, for those that want to start VTubing, but they're afraid of making connections, what do you think is the best advice to give those people to start that networking?
Just message them.
Okay. As simple as
Like
that.
I literally, I also just accidentally, I tried to message Roshan to say we need to stop being shy and talk to each other, and I accidentally sent it to oh hey it's Goblin, so that's great.
I mean, what if it works? What if it works?
I literally just said, hey, I think you're cool. We should talk sometime. And then, like, we need to stop being shy and talk to each other. And it's like, oh my God. No, seriously, that's it. Literally, I'm doing it right now. If you want to talk to people, you need to just reach out. And I understand social anxiety. I struggled with it for a long time. But what I realized is you are never going to make any kind of connections unless you reach out to people. You don't know how much they want to talk to you to. Okay? And if they block you, so freaking what? Okay? I know it's gonna hurt your pride just a little bit. Maybe a lot. I don't know. Because, like, whenever I first started, I got my feelings hurt a lot, but I pushed through it. And that's why Grandpa's so good at networking, because I just reach out to people and I say, hey, I think you're neat. We should talk sometime and go from there. One of the things is I hate small talk. So I will start conversations and things like that. And if they fizzle out, you know, I'll just let it lie for a little bit. But just keeping up communications and just seeing how people are. I literally start every conversation with my friends with, hey, how are you doing?
Yep.
So the only way that you're going to actually make connections, be it business, networking, or friendships, is for you to take that plunge and to reach out to people. And that does not mean spam people, because that's a good way to get blocked.
You also start to become what is it? When you get like the message request, you actually get hidden away on Twitter at least. So when you do that too often, people will start to never see your messages anymore, and that is the worst feeling ever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Nathan, what is your advice?
I mean, I know it's not as the least qualified person to be a VTuber here. Asking for advice for VTubers would be a thing, but I did at least want to say one thing when it comes to that. I at the very least, like, you know, people might be, you know, daunted and scared when they think of like all the different aspects. Like Sam, you were going through the entire list of how much your setup costs, and the same with you, Iris. You went through that list and stuff like that. That if it's something that you are truly passionate about and something you truly want to indulge into, do not let those price tags scare you. Even if it's just as simple as the cheap laptop that I talked about with the PNG model or whatnot, because there are some very efficient PNG tubing software out there that does not like take up, you know, all of your RAM or whatnot. If that's what you want to do, then take that first step and do it. Like, go out there and have fun with this stuff. Present yourself in the fun, you know, either serious or flamboyant way that you really want to. Because if it's something that you truly love and are passionate about and want to present out there in the world, take that first step and just do it. See what happens. You never know.
I'm gonna tell y'all a quick secret real quick.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to know how I became friends with quite a few of my friends actually?
How so?
Because I saw their models on Twitter and decided to comment, "Hey yo, you kind of hot though." And that opened up I'm not saying do that, but like that opened up, you know, that opened up communications and stuff. Like literally, if you're wanting to talk to someone, even just putting a Twitter comment or something like that opens up that communication.
Yep,
So like being involved in their community helps as well.
that is something that I did a lot when I first started. and it is how I got to like 15K. I'm a lot lower now because, some people just lost interest, whatever, don't care. But number one, Twitter strategy, and this still does apply to this day, even under the evil Musk. Um, Talking with people, literally on every single post that you see that you are interested in, just talk to them, have a genuine conversation that goes beyond "wow" or "hey," because that small talk is not good. It does make you look a little shallow, I will say. That's my hot take. Um, just saying. I
I
had
agree.
I had someone that I interviewed a little bit ago. His name is Shobra of the Shadows, and he is a very intriguing person, one of the more intriguing VTubers that I've met, because this concept is very simple, but everything that involves him being a VTuber is 100% in character at all times. He hardly ever breaks character, even when he's in personal calls with people. And I found that really intriguing. And when he broke character for our interview, he told me that the thing that changed, or that he loved the most, was being able to live his dream of being an actor. Because he loves being up on stage and he loves playing a character up all the time. It's one of his favorite escapes, and that is the reason why he is a VTuber. And I think that that's beautiful. And I want to know, and Nathan, you can answer this too. It's perfectly fine, even if you're not a VTuber. What has been one thing since you started VTubing that has completely changed your life? Even if
Oh,
it's very simple, it might be a loaded question, but
okay, strap in, because
all right, we're ready.
whenever I first started VTubing, I was in a very dark place. I thought trauma dumping and all that kind of stuff was how you make friends. I did not know how to socialize in the slightest because
Mhm.
I was an autistic kid that didn't know that they were autistic and all this other stuff. So I was just that weird kid in the corner for most of my life. Getting involved in the VTuber community and things like that, I have met people who have taught me not only how to socialize, but to be myself instead of being the sponge that I was trying to please everybody.
Mhm.
The VTuber community has actually helped me get into voice acting. But my voice is in video games, podcasts, short films, things like that. And my favorite thing is Fallout mods. And getting involved with Fallout mods led me to meet two of my childhood favorite voice actors, Craig Seckler and Wes Johnson. Craig Seckler voices the adoring fan in Oblivion and Starfield, and also Butch from Fallout 3. Wes
Mhm.
Johnson voices most of the NPCs in the Elder Scrolls series and the Fallout series, and Shigarath in
Mhm.
the Elder Scrolls series, and a lot more. They both have lists of things, and it has also helped me get into acting as well. I have like, what is it, 4 or 5 different models that I all do voices for, that like I play a whole different character besides just Grandpa, because I don't really role play as Grandpa unless like it's a special stream. I'm just me.
Mhm. Yep.
It has opened up travel for me. It has opened up going to conventions and like being guests at conventions, being the special guest and things like that. My entire life has changed, and unfortunately, with my health and things like that, I am getting a little bit more disabled as the years go on. But that hasn't stopped me. Like, even when I'm in my wheelchair and stuff like that, going to conventions and things like TwitchCon, the meetups and things like that, I have felt like I was the most popular person in the room with the way that people treat me and stuff like that. I went from being the outcast black sheep of the family and the weird, I'm just going to say it, the weird girl in the corner, to this outspoken man who has left a good impact on people, and that's all I've ever wanted.
Mhm.
So, like, you ask how VTubing changes a person's life, there you go.
I mean, I could certainly attest to that, even though I am not a VTuber myself, but I cannot tell you how glad I am to be immersed into the world of VTubers. Like I hinted at before, like Sam, you basically bringing me into your like group of friends or whatnot has introduced me to so many people that I consider like my lifelong friends at this point. Like you, obviously, you're a major one. Like obviously, I wouldn't have asked you to be here if I didn't think that. You know, like you, Sasha, Iris, Kay, Jay. Like I could go through a whole list of all the different people that I've gotten to meet thanks to you, and people that, you know, like I said, I consider very close friends, and you know, people that I want like at like major events in my life. Like I've already decided there's a good group of VTuber friends that I want in my wedding whenever that does happen. And Sam, you better get your ass there more than anything else. I will pay for your flight ticket personally, all right?
I would love to be there.
That is whenever I do get engaged. We are not engaged yet. It's probably gonna happen, but
Christine,
we'll cross that bridge. Look, I have bluntly told her, like, I want to at least make sure that we're actually living in the same place together for a little bit before I decide to get down on one knee. Past that, like, it's basically game, set, match. Like, I'll be blunt. I just want to at least make sure that we can act like, because, you know, seeing each other a little bit at work, going on dates and messaging each other online is one thing, but like being in the same physical space or whatnot could be a whole different thing. I at least want to make sure that before I devote myself all the way to proposing. But it's basically there, you know? But I'm getting off topic, ironically enough. But no, like in all seriousness, like the people that I consider like my closest friends, the people that I'm more than willing to open up to and you know, really trust more than anything else. The fact that VTubing has allowed these people to really allow me to make that connection and to even be considered a good friend in their eyes. I'm honored to know all these people, and I'm so glad that VTubing has provided the opportunity for people to really get out there and to really let themselves be known. I mean, like I said, like I cannot think where I'd be without, like I said, people like Sam, like Sasha, Rocco, Pinch, Iris. You know, I can make an entire list of just all the people that I consider my closest friends, and it's thanks to VTubing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, same.
Yeah,
VTubing. Yeah, I can't say it. I say this every goddamn time, and it drives me up the wall because then I listen to it in post, and I'm like, fuck. VTubing is the gateway drug into VTubing. So it's only a matter of time, Nathan, before you join our ranks.
like I said, as long as if I can get if I can at least get like a second monitor or something like that, to where I don't have to rely on going back and forth between like whatever I'm doing and my OBS or whatnot, I'd be more than happy to do VTubing. But also on the other hand, like people already recognize me enough as is, but like I wouldn't mind at least delving into VTubing more than anything else. It's fun. It's a good way for a person to really truly express themselves. I've debated about it before. I've thought about different ideas for models and stuff like that. I know Mr. Moneybags is like my good default one to go to or whatnot, but I've also thought, you know, that's a fun little mascot, but I don't know if that really represents me.
What you could do is take Mr. Moneybags' body and then like take different pictures of your face, like my friend Sterling does.
Yeah.
And then just put your face on Mr. Moneybags and then just be a face VTuber.
No, honestly, what I thought about if I was to go into VTubing or whatnot, I wouldn't even want to like have the Mr. Money, like I would want the Mr. Moneybags to be like the mascot for me or whatnot. But like the actual VTubing self, like oddly enough, the weirdest, the one I think I'd love to do is something like wrestler based because how much I love wrestling and such. So like like Seb's like this, big hoss of a wrestler more than anything else, was like the energy and the vibe that I could really bring into it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
It's an idea. It's an idea.
Yeah, we can definitely have a whole podcast episode dedicated to talking about what you would be. We can even role play a stream, and we'll teach you the ropes and everything.
That sounds fun to me.
Honestly,
That would be interesting.
We'll write it down. Put it in the notes.
I'll put in the episode ideas later.
Oh yeah.
But if I had to say, for me personally, just to answer that question of what has absolutely changed my life being a VTuber, kind of parroting off of what you said, Sam, I used to be the boy in the corner, the little lad who just didn't know what to do with his life, and then I realized who I wanted to be. I accidentally stumbled upon a Nyanners video, and then from there, this is where I am today. I've learned so many new skills. I've met so many cool people. I've had the amazing opportunity to pick people's brains. Where I'm gonna flash the interview again with Grandpa on the screen that I had on Poison Points, and we're including all the links everywhere that you can find Sam. I've got to pick everyone's brains and learn so many different perspectives and all of that stuff and open up my worldview. So going from being a very closed in, self-minded individual to back to my what I feel is my more true self is liberating. I can't find a better word for it. It is so freeing to feel this way, to think about this all day long when I'm at work, just as my own personal escape. Um, I want nothing more than to come home, chat with my friends, create new ideas, and just be open with what I want to be, who I want to be, and where I want to be someday. So, yeah, I can't think of any other way to end this interview podcast episode. Unless anybody else has anything else they want to bring up, any other points and topics?
I'll say I'm good, Sam. Unless you got something, I think this would be a good place to start wrapping up.
I've got one thing to say to you, Post.
Okay,
That's cool with you.
go for it.
About that conversation that you were having earlier about your girlfriend and all of that. I have one piece of advice for you, for someone who's been married for 14 fucking years.
Right.
Most important thing when it comes to relationships of any kind is communication.
Absolutely.
That goes for VTubing, personal relationships, romantic relationships, anything out there. Communication is important.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I will add on to that as someone who was divorced for the lack of communication. So that is the most solid thing ever that you could ever have. So yeah, and you will she will vicariously learn all of these things by listening to this episode that we're talking about, because she watches every episode, right?
She does. No,
Yep.
genuinely, she does. She does.
Yeah, my wife doesn't even watch my streams. She'll join them, but she won't fucking watch them.
No, Sam, I get it. Pinch doesn't watch anything that I make ever, even though I work so hard on it. Hey, but my mom will. My mom will do it.
There you
Oh
go.
my god, okay, one last story real quick before we end this.
Mm-hmm.
My in real life family calls me grandpa even in public.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
It's so embarrassing because like the last time we went to a restaurant they were calling me grandpa and I went to go to the bathroom and a waiter stopped me and they're like, why are they calling you grandpa?
I will also say though, is that not like the most gender affirming thing ever? The fact that they're calling you that?
It is. It really is. But I'm sitting there trying to walk into the women's bathroom.
Oh, my friends will sometimes, because my real name is Iris, and I've gone by the moniker of Irisu for so long that they just call me Irisu. My real life friends in public, they're like, "Oh, hi Irisu," and I'm like, I guess that is my name, huh?
Yeah, I Grandpa's name and my name are the same. So like, the one thing that I hate the most is whenever somebody calls me Sammy because that is the name of my mom's dog.
Oh, yeah, no, we. So, Sam, where, if anybody was to go and look for more of you, just because they couldn't get enough of you, where would you tell them to look?
Uh, if you want super chaotic, my Twitter, which is under Eldritch Grandpa, and my Twitch is under the same name. I have a TikTok as well under Eldritch Grandpa. Like everything that you could possibly find me under is most likely Eldritch Grandpa or Grandpa Samuel.
Great branding that we have here.
Thank
The
you.
consistent branding. And Nathan, if we wanted to hear more about you and other podcasts and interviews that you've had, like the one with Sam here, where would they go?
I would highly recommend that you check out the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. Yeah, I got the thing on lock. No, yeah, you can look up the Postmodern Art Podcast on YouTube or check me out on the socials, usually at Postmod Art Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, most social media platforms. You'll find me there.
Huge.
And now, Iris, where can the people find you if they want to, see more of the content that apparently Pinch doesn't even watch?
So usually you can find me everywhere at just Irisu, but I've taken a little bit of a step back from that for now because I have really started honing in the loot VT side of things. So if you want to see a great video essay that I did, you can find me at LootVT everywhere, from YouTube to Twitter to TikTok and Instagram. I made quite frankly, something I was not expecting, a banger of a video, and I will be proud and not so humble about it. So hashtag humble brag. It's about Sly Cooper and the most infamous level in the entire series. So, yeah. With that being said, Grandpa, we end this podcast the same way every time. But whenever we have a guest on, we have to make the inclusion work so that everyone can have their outro. So, um,
Do I need to remind you what? Do I need to remind you what it is?
Yes, please carry me.
I'll tell you,
you stallion.
This is how it will be. You'll start off with "Until next time, I'm Iris," and then Sam will say "I'm Samuel," and then I'll say "and I'm Nathan," and until next time, that we all tried to say at the same time, stay connected.
Stay connected. All right.
So
let's do this. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready when you are.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. I've been Iris.
I've been Grandpa.
And I've been Nathan. And until next time,
stay
connected.
It's okay. We'll work that all in. Thankfully, everything's on a different audio track, so we can make it work, baby. Let's go.